Welcome to this special broadcast. We're going to be interviewing a gentleman who is running for the District 4 Commissioner seat in Walker County, Georgia, Jamey Hulsey. Jamey is a veteran businessman, and he's now retired, or at least going to be semi-retired. And I met him just a few days ago and was impressed with this gentleman and his Christian faith, and also with his whole attitude and demeanor. Jamey, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, Rick.
We're glad to have you here.
Yes, sir.
Now, before we go and start telling a little bit about who Jamey is, Jamey, number one, is retired.
Yes, sir, I am. I am retired. I retired about 6 years ago, and made a commitment then I'll never get back into the business world. But as God would have it, every time I've said no, I'm never going to do something again, it's almost like God tells me I am. And the commitment to pursue this area of need, I think that God's chosen me with my experience to see if I can contribute to Walker County.
And you know, you hit on a very good point, very valid point. That is, you know, tell God what you're going to do and sit back and watch him laugh.
Right.
Because he has plans for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, the example, the biggest thing is Melissa and I had both been previously married. I said, I will never get married again. I'll never be in that situation. 8 months later, I married my best friend. I mean, so, you know, that was the most serious thing I would ever not commit to, that God told me, yes, you will.
Well, what brought you to Walker County? Because you've worked all over the state, and you've been in some very influential business positions, and I'll let you go into that whenever you're comfortable with it. But what brought you to Walker County?
Well, we were fortunate and blessed to retire. My wife was a successful business owner. She had businesses from Kennesaw up to North Georgia mountains. I worked at an electric co-op for 31 years. I was previous president of a co-op affiliate of Cobb EMC in South Georgia, and it was in Cuthbert, Georgia. Then I was a senior vice president over 60-something of the company with around 350 employees. But when we retired, we were getting out of Dodge. I was the last one to get out of Dodge, because where I came from, grew up in Marietta, Georgia. I guess my parents were the first ones to not actively farm growing up, but their parents did. My grandfather and others farmed all the way up to the back of Kennesaw Mountain. They farmed cotton in the South Cobb. My grandfather talked about when he was a boy farming. So when we were able to get out of the rat race, the careers that we had started and completed, serving the communities there, we left. And coincidentally, we looked all over the southeast. We looked all around the mountains. We were attracted to Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina. We were finding some beautiful places. And without getting detailing wise, we stood on this property in the head of the cove off 136, and God said, this is where you'll be. We were dancing in the front yard, have not been in the house, but to know that God said this is where you'll be. We could have chosen anywhere in the world to live, but this was our destiny, and this is what I intend to keep that way.
Walker County is a beautiful, beautiful place, isn't it?
Yes.
And especially, I mean, there's no part of Walker County that I've been to in the almost decade that I've lived here in Lafayette that is not beautiful. In fact, I think the area over where you live, over in the Cove area, is that's equivalent to Cades Cove any day of the week.
Exactly. I call it better. Obviously, you can't build a house in Cades Cove, or we might have chosen that one. But you know, Walker County is unique in itself, and not just the beauty and the mountains and the ag areas that I'll fight to protect. You have great shopping. You have areas where there's great restaurants, and we've seen more coming in. The whole community is a diverse mix of what a county should be, in my opinion. Matter of fact, the county is divided into zoning areas that will dictate the future and a plan for Walker County. It's who chooses to enforce to keep Walker County the way it is now.
District 4, and it is primarily the western end of Walker County,
Yes, sir.
which encompasses Lookout Mountain and all the way down to the Chattooga border,
Right.
and over to Dade County, and if I remember correctly on the map, even bordering onto the state of Alabama, if I remember my map correctly. But it's fairly close in there. But the area has so many natural resources
Yes.
that can be very carefully used to build the community.
Yes.
But we also have factories.
Yes.
We have here in Lafayette, we have a number of factories, including Roper, which is GE Appliances.
Right.
We have a number of other companies that are one that's moved in here that manufactures trash trucks,
Right.
of all things, you know,
Right.
and where they used to manufacture Bluebell buses. But I think you're correct. Walker County has a lot to offer. And as a result, people are going to be coming and moving to Walker County. We're close to Chattanooga and all of the facilities that are available there, such as medical, healthcare facilities, and jobs and other things. But keeping Walker County a little bit rural and a little bit laid back and a little bit country, and not letting the urban sprawl of Chattanooga overrun it. Is that important?
Oh, yes, it's important. Number one is, Chattanooga, the population and development of Chattanooga is a benefit and a risk, okay? The risk is what we've already seen from development around Ridgeland High School, which is controversial, bordering legal or not legal of how it came about, and the commissioners who voted for such a thing. The threat is that development to continue down Chattanooga Valley through the rural parts of the county. That's one thing that I would vote against. We've seen other developments that have gone, or votes that have gone against the Joint Comprehensive Plan, which is the joint effort of planning and commitment to divide the county into different zoning areas. You have the agriculture area, which is majority of District 4. You have industrial areas defined. You have commercial, high-density residential, single-family residential, and even where the apartments are in Ridgeland used to be A1 ag, used to be a farm, layman's words. And so, yeah, there's the threat. My passion for agriculture is when I was president of the South Georgia Electric Cooperative in Cuthbert, Georgia. The economy was probably 90% or better agriculture. They had crop fields you couldn't hardly see across, but I got involved with the ag down there to learn more about the farmers, and we had a great relationship. But one graph sticks out in my mind. The graph showed the decrease in farmland every year. It showed the increase in population every year. So sitting in a small town of Shelburne, Georgia, when they said, when those points meet, we have a concern about feeding the world. Okay, if you look at agriculture and what our farmers provide, it's food, okay? Some people think food comes from the warehouse behind the grocery store, but it does come from the farmers. So tax is a threat, money's a threat. Developers look at raw land as if it were a pile of gold. It takes 3 votes on this commission to make things happen. 3 votes to overturn any commitment on the Joint Comprehensive Plan, which they've committed to, and it was 3 votes that brought the apartments to the Ridgeland High School area. We've seen other votes against that. We've seen communication is a failure, communication with the citizens when something's coming up. I still have people asking now in the Flintstone area, why is there 2 liquor stores in Flintstone? Okay, who communicated with the citizens, not just the people bordering the development or the facility going in, but who's speaking to the citizens regionally to say, well, give us some ideas, your thoughts on that. I don't see, number one, how 2 liquor stores in Flintstone can sustain. One will probably go out of business. And the other hand is why. You know, it's the big why. Does the old Chattanooga Valley Road going to look like a strip of convenience stores and liquor stores. I don't think that's the look of a rural neighborhood area, along with the schools and the churches that are nearby. That to me, that shoe don't quite fit. And also other liquor stores have been put into places requiring a 1,500-foot distance between two liquor stores. You know, is I think Walker County is and should be better known as the natural resource, the place to visit. You have the Cladland Canyon traffic. You got the Rock City. You got the Mountain Cove Farms that I will fight to never have developed. And people come here and go home for a reason. People live here for a reason. But yes, there's industrial parks. There is place for growth, but having and maintaining that diversity of Walker County is so important to us and the reason we lived here. And I'm coming out of retirement, and today happens to be the day. It's opening day of turkey season, and I'm a passionate hunter. I'm sitting here talking to Rick Talent, and gave that up as I'm retired to work for the citizens. That's all I've ever done. Working for a member-owned electric utility is serve. That's the reason I've been president of Rotary 3 different times in 2 different counties. That's the reason I was a chair of the Chamber of Commerce in 2 different counties, South Georgia and Randolph County, and North Georgia and Cobb County. I've had the experience, but my whole experience has been God blessing me to give me jobs, get paid well, and be recognized to one that can serve. And I intend on doing that in Walker County to protect what we have. God gave the state this great place, and through God and who I follow, even when I said I'm not going to do something, He's led me to do this for the county and bring back the things I tried to forget in the business world, working with actuaries, working with auditors, working in with $100 million budgets, and guiding people and employees, empowering employees, which I've seen a very, very strong morale issue inside the county. I think there's too much delegation, not enough empowerment, and give the people the strength with their ideas on the front line to do what's right. So I hope that answers your question, Rick, because I am passionate about this. If I wasn't asked to do this by the citizens, I was asked to run for this position. People knowing my experience, knowing my passion that I've proven in commissioner meetings, and somebody to think that I was brave for standing up to the commission. Well, people don't understand. The commissioners, like any other politician, works for the people.
That's right.
And to be scared of a commission, there are yes men on that commission. There's yes men being nominated or campaigning to run for a commission that I guarantee you are yes men. But again, the people and God has given me this burden, I call it, or the conviction to use all my skills and experience to do what's right and work for the people, as I've always done.
And let's just go ahead and hit on this thing because it's an important part. And you did not move here to run for public office.
Oh, no, sir. No, I didn't. Again, I'll go back to, I've said I would never do something like this. Just the look of it, the feel of it, and the comments that are made. Oh, you'll running for this or getting elected, you'll be painted as the bad guy. You'll be a politician. You'll be a corrupt person. And number one, my name and who I am means a lot to me. The image I set is probably more important to me than anything in the world, whether it's what I do or by faith. Questioning my faith is a topic. I went to the Cowboy Church this morning, and talking about, it was a men's breakfast, men's meeting, that you stand up for who you are. You literally fight back to defend who you are, and let God lead, and don't get caught up in the small things, in the mischievous things, or the fake look of things, and a yes man agreeing to this and negotiate what's right or wrong. That's not who I am. And I'm not running for this, again, as anything other than for the citizens, for the county, and for the reason that my wife and my youngest daughter and myself moved here to appreciate.
Now, one of the things that you mentioned is that you have been a manager of some large businesses
Mm-hmm.
and had to run some very serious budgets
Yes.
with large personnel.
Right.
Do you have any idea right off the top of your head how many employees Walker County has?
Walker is in the 300s.
Okay.
In that
So it's a
ballpark.
fairly large employer.
Yes.
And those employees are scattered all over this entire county trying to get the job done.
Right. Right.
Coordinating getting things accomplished in all 4 of the districts
Mm-hmm.
could be a real headache,
Exactly.
because there's things that need to be done in the 4th district that the 2nd district might not need.
Right.
But at the same time, you have a responsibility to the taxpayers as a commissioner
Mm-hmm.
to try to run the government efficiently.
Right.
And contrary to what some may think, the county commission manager does not run the county.
Right.
He's only the manager over what the county commission gives him the authority to do. Is that correct?
No, sir.
No. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Well-
That was my understanding. Now, help
Well,
me
what's
here.
accurate in the structure of the county is the chairman of the board is also the manager of the daily operation of the county, which his title, I think, a self-title is given as a CEO, but I believe he's simply the manager of the operation on the daily basis with the county. You know, in general, I'm not running for chair, but in general, looking at the structure is I'm accustomed to being held accountable for the things I do, in everything I've done, operational efficiency to production to strategic planning and meeting specific goals. But my man is if you're the chairman of the commission and you're also over the daily operation, who holds the management of the county duties accountable for things that might be done or said, and I've seen areas where, you know, that I believe it would be more efficient if the whole commission had say-so in the operations of the county by holding an individual accountable with expectation, not for penalty foremost, but to give them goals, come up with strategic planning. Look at operational efficiency, where I've been part of detailed operational efficiency, and to be honest with you, it comes a point in time where we did it. Here is a nonprofit member-owned electric utility with 200,000 members, and it happened to be a $1 billion organization, and it's kind of odd for a nonprofit to say you're a $1 billion organization, but by growth in the density, that it just became that many members. But we don't always like self-evaluation. I don't think self-evaluation, you're not inviting other ideas, better ideas. If you don't have a second look at something, another set of eyes, you're probably missing something. So I favor third-party experts that have come in. We welcome them in. Find something. You know, you want to know if something is a little different, because we can sit here all day, think everything's great, but we're not always sitting there doing audits, evaluations. And of course, when you have 300 plus employees and you know, line trucks to bucket trucks to safety, I had all the safety for nearly 500 employees for the entire organization. Fleet, I was over fleet and the operation of fleet, you know, and system technology. I had the works, but to sit there and look and say, oh, everything is so efficient. I love others always looking to critique and give ideas of what we could do better.
And the county commission is a cooperative work in many ways, because you have 4 commissioners who are elected by the people to represent their specific areas and their specific goals and their specific needs. And then you have the commission basically the commission manager,
Right.
who manages the county's day-to-day operations. One of the most important things that I see is a commissioner needs to be able to communicate with the people of his district and know what their needs are.
Right. Exactly.
How do you propose to improve communication between the county commission and your district?
Well, and to be honest, which I'm pretty good at being honest because the truth is the best, is I've seen since we've been here the lack of communication. And I can give you some examples of that. We just recently went to a town hall meeting about a quarry, a proposed quarry, which it looks like it's not proposed. It's set in stone. A quarry is going into the very south part of the county in District 4, right on the line between District 4 off Ridgeland Road and or Ridgeway Road. Anyway, the town hall meeting was called. It seemed to be incumbent on the commissioners to facilitate a meeting between the citizens and the owners of the quarry. Now, granted, a quarry or strip mining fits into the ag district, which that's in. But you know, if you're putting a barn in or a chicken house in, you know, people would expect that's what's coming in. But you have neighboring properties in that region with a quarry coming in. I would think that'd be significant enough for at least the district manager. If you're a district commissioner, you should be in touch with your district citizens, the ones that put you in office. So it seems to me way before it would get so intense with the temperatures of the people in that area, they went as far as even created a Facebook Stop the Quarry site. How dare your representatives let something get that far without letting those people know that there's a quarry coming? Okay? To me, it's the effort between private and public, especially, we'll say commission and citizens. You're there for the citizens. They are the voters. The quarry's not going to get a vote. Okay, if it's going in, I see the need of a quarry. I see the need of the value that gravel, lime that farmers use, things of that nature. There has been 3 other quarries in the county. But how dare just let a surprise happen? Surprises only should happen at Christmas. That's a good thing. But the surprise of a quarry with all the motions that we heard, legitimate concerns of citizens around there, at least work with the people early on in the game. So that was a lack of communication that was called for on a reactive basis, not a proactive basis. You know, we working with the citizens too, the communication. Okay, we have a hotel sticking out the side of the mountain. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's quality up there. There's things like that. But in the Joint Comprehensive Plan, it calls for Walker County's committed for the scenic look, the natural look, the agriculture look, and also where industrial. Okay, so, you know, it's a nice hotel. Don't get me wrong. Okay, regardless of tax abatements and things that have been committed to that, you know, it may be a while before we see a lot of benefits from some of those facilities up there. But I was down there the other day. You get the people down in the Cove. Okay, they look at the mountain. Oh, what a beautiful mountain. You get people from up there, and I mentioned to some folks at Macklemore, I said, you know, these transition lines in between development and rural lands, you know, that's important, okay? When you're standing up on the hotel area or that bluff, you look down and say, wow, look at the farmland. And I said, well, I asked them, I said, how would y'all like to see subdivisions and shopping? Oh, no, that's not the reason we're here. I said, well, we have to consider the other side. When you look on the mountain and see a hotel or rooftops, you know, the skyline gone. You know, it's a joint effort. But one thing I did recognize, something simple, working with the citizens at the bottom of the mountain versus just the top, you look at the hotel. It's a yellowish color sticking out on the mountain. You know, somebody taking a little bit of time working with that, if the hotel was going to go in, you could picture at least the color of the back of that hotel during the daytime. I could vision you probably wouldn't even notice the hotel was there. So who had at least had a concern of the facade of the hotel up there, where it could look like just part of the rocks and the granite and the or limestone and the pines. I mean, simple things can help smooth things over, but communication, again, the lack of, I've heard too many commissioners, because my commitment is full-time. I'm retired. I've heard too many comments, you know, this or this. Well, that's a part-time job for me. Well, of course, you know, commissioners work, but I don't look at it as a part-time job when you have 65,000 citizens counting on you to make the right decisions for your community, and I see it as a full-time job, whether you have a other full-time job or not. But I am committed to have more time than others to bring communication early on to the citizens, and actually even apply some. And again, the liquor stores is another thing. I still, you know, people are asking, why is there 2 liquor stores in Flintstone? All around there, it's like they didn't let people know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I think that's you're pointing to some very important issues, and one of those issues is that there has to be communication between the commission and the people, and that way of communication comes through that the county commissioner that represents them,
right.
And representing the 4th district of Walker County, which is primarily agricultural and forestry, and I mean, you look on the map, there's not a whole lot there.
Oh yeah.
Except houses, and you mentioned McLemore Cove, that area. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
But I would hate to see that ruined.
Right.
Because it's such a resource. Yet at the same time, the county has to grow somehow. The county has to grow its tax base in order to be able to pay the bills,
right.
rather than just increasing taxes. What do you envision for the future of Walker County 3 or 4 years down the road, if concerning helping the county to grow and not increase property taxes exorbitantly?
Right. Well, number one, increase in top property taxes. I don't believe the one side of the equation is we need to raise property taxes to cover expense. Okay, that's kind of, you know, the old saying that I hear, and everybody might understand that. Look at that with a power company. The only way we recover expense is through power rates. Mm-hmm. There's another side of that equation. The other side of the equation is, what are we spending money on? Okay, so looking at an in-depth study of where our dollars are going, where the expenses come from. I think there should be an in-depth study. I do appreciate a third-party look at even some of those to see where our dollars go. I've been part of, in the middle of, and taken action on a forensic audit. A forensic audit is an in-depth study that, from the history I've heard with different commissioners over the years, I think it probably would be high time to have a third-party look at see where our dollars go. No different than operational efficiency. Why would we be scared to track the money, identify where everything's at, make that transparent, and then transparent on actions to fix anything that could be a concern. You know, another good thing is there's always, my taxes are high. Well, you know, got to pay for things. Well, say there's nothing found in a forensic study. Maybe you can make significant differences in the tax rate. One thing you do assure the folks, though, is when you do that, you've done it. A third party with confidence. You're not self-evaluating. Now, self-evaluation to me is still not a trustworthy thing, especially with the lack of trust I see from citizens with the government as well as employees. I think an in-depth study, third party, revealing the results, good, bad, or indifferent, I think that's something that would be healthy for the county. So economic development, power companies are big into it. Power companies all over want to serve, well, whoever comes, wherever, power. But being parts of the chambers, I've had the opportunity to work with groups, economic development groups. I've been on development authorities as well that attract. If you're not being focused on or let your county know that you're on the map when some large business may come into Georgia, you don't ever have a shot. There's a political game to some of that. And from what I know, we spend money to encourage or get opportunity from the Development Authority, and I believe the Joint Development Authority that it is. And I think that's well worth looking at, because I'd like to see what that Joint Development Authority has really brought to the county. You know, if it's a good thing, they ought to be listing the top 5, 6, 10, 100 efforts they made, and see what it's really benefited for the dollars we're providing that. Because at the same time, the county could have, a lot of counties have their own economic development person that is going out, working with the state, working with others, to bring industry into, or industrial into the industrial areas defined by the Joint Comprehensive Plan. To even, there's a lot of demand for better restaurants. You know, there's been so much focus on liquor stores and things like that. Who's making the efforts to bring what citizens really want, really need, to improve the quality in the county?
And we've had several very good restaurants come into Lafayette.
Oh yeah,
And,
well, I've tasted them all.
And yes, and
we're not going to promote one.
We're not going to promote one over the other, but
good.
other than to say that we have promoted ourselves.
Yeah,
I'll give you a chance there to fix your microphone. Just put the little clip back on it. These microphones have a tendency to pop off the clip real easy. Jamey, we've talked a lot about the current situation in Walker County, and it should just slide right over the microphone itself.
Yeah. Okay.
But growth is so important to any municipality, to any county, and controlling that growth so that, and you've addressed this, controlling that growth so that places where you want industry to be, they are, and commercial and residential, and preserving those areas that are primarily recreational areas. And we have such a great portion of Walker County as recreational areas. Do you see the 4th District as being an area where that can be marketed to a greater extent, to where more people would come to Lookout Mountain, to Pigeon Mountain, to these areas? I mean, you're a hunter.
Yes.
You love hunting. You're missing the first day of turkey season to be here with me today. But do you think that we can promote that in our county and make a difference in tourism?
Yeah.
And in well, for one thing, we have very few places, economical places, for people to stay when they come here. Places such as RV parks. I was talking to, I hate to ask a long question, but I was talking with some people one day at Pigeon Mountain Grill. They had come down from Boston, Massachusetts to ride their bicycles in Walker County.
Right.
And they were falling in love with the place. And the gentleman told me, he said, if I possibly can, I'll sell my business and move down here and operate out of my house to be able to live in a place like this.
Exactly.
And of course, I've worked in Boston. You've probably been there too. So, it's not a place where you really want to stay. Right. It's a place where you like to get away from. Can we build on that picture of how beautiful Walker County is and create an industry, even if it's more cottage industry than I mean, we don't want it to become Pigeon Forge, but can we build upon it to enhance and improve facilities that are available for people when they do come?
Well, sure we can. When there's a demand, that's an easy one to take advantage of. And we ourselves have a VRBO, vacation rental, and there's only a few lodges at Mountain Cove, and there's a hotel up on the mountain. But I think just like Pigeon Forge, people like staying in a cabin or more something in tune with the environment. But yeah, you can. That could be an effort to work on is more cottage type stays. And again, this is a free market. This is capital. Work at its best when smart people, business owners see a need. should take advantage of it. But at the same time, you've been to Massachusetts. Well, you know, promoting growth is to a point. Okay, I remember when I was told it, and it was exciting for the people saying it, that there was 150 acres left to develop in Cobb County. And I said, I used to hunt where there's a mall now. I used to fish where I wouldn't fish now in that area. Again, my grandparents, they farmed around there. And it's like, okay, growth is good to a point, but the Walker County is big, and the Joint Comprehensive Plan is a great plan. Sticking to that plan and not growing outside of that plan, which has been, the lines have been crossed on several occasions, which is one of my motivations in the beginning of asking why, the threat of something eating up our natural resources. I'll tell you, you asked a long question, so I'm probably getting off topic of some of those questions. Threats of agriculture, okay, like I said before, money is the root of all evil, in my opinion. Money is why politics are the way they are. Money is why Cobb County went downhill, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Might be good for others, but this should never be like that. So another big threat, we've been offered money on our farm. Probably most farmers down there have been offered money to put utility grade solar to displace a whole farm, 500, 600, 700 acres, it don't matter. They're sweeping up the agriculture land all over the country even. Mm-hmm. There's proposals by a congressman to try to avoid solar, utility grade solar, to displace ag lands. Because remember the graph I told you about? That's another threat to reduce farmland, which actually, that feeds us, okay? But we have the natural resources along with the farming, which is also creates natural resources that people love to look at. But there is a demand, a need. Now, I'm totally for the technology of solar. We're looking at having solar just for our house, just for our needs, and that's great. But when you're destroying an area of need and the looks of it, then you have land that's been sitting under those panels for 30 years. The land's no good. The restoration of that land to farm on would take no telling what. Then you have a panel with chemicals in it mm-hmm. that come from another country where they say this is for clean energy over here, but the pollution and things they're doing to mine for the chemicals going into the solar panels in China or wherever it's from, there's no benefit. It's offsetting what they think looks good over here, but it is a pollutant and it's something that wouldn't be allowed over here by our government. So again, solar is a threat to our natural resources and our farming community.
And when you're looking at the comprehensive plan, you're looking at something that has not just been thrown together.
Right.
This has been well planned out. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, the state universities are involved in it,
right.
and even the federal government's involved in it, in how to properly utilize the resources
right.
of an area.
Right.
So sticking with it is pretty important.
Yes, sticking with it's important, and it is a requirement by the state to be in this. If you take advantage of loans, grants, that sort of thing with the state, mm-hmm. you have to participate in this. And the Joint Comprehensive Plan in Walker County includes the cities within the county. So, and again, if you read it, which is another communication, I guess, lack of that I've seen, that I asked a lot of people, have you seen the Joint Comprehensive Plan? We need to be pushing that thing out, which would make people comfortable. This is a 10-year plan to be reviewed every 5 years, but it's a 10-year plan on showing what Walker County is doing to preserve our natural resources, to locate industry, to locate high-density residential, to half-acre lots for residential, that sort of thing. So, yeah, it's very important. It's important that we have access to loans and grants and things like that, but more importantly, in my opinion, it is a great strategic forecast of where the county is to go. And again, Walker County is unique. Not many counties have Lookout Mountain covering the whole west border of the county. We have one mountain. We have a great valley. You know, $90 million farming in Walker County is a $90 million industry, and any threat to that, you reduce the farm investments, and you lose what the natural resources we have. So, yes, it's very important, but it's more important to stick to that plan and not threaten it because of personal reasons. And that's all I'll say about that.
Should small property owners share in the opportunities that large property owners have, such as agricultural and rural opportunities?
Oh, sure. They should share. I mean, you know, when you get again that transition area, when you have agriculture, bordering residents, whatever. I just saw at the last commission meeting, a lady that she proposed going, her property was on R1, okay, it's single family classification, but she wanted to go to A1 so she could have chickens or whatnot that would be allowed in the ag zone. And then, yeah, I'm all for something going to an ag. You know, you don't see that every day, but yeah, I think that yeah, I think.
Well, one of our bordering counties has been in the news for having, shall we say, nicely outlawed chickens.
Yeah.
And you know, I understand a lot of what people are talking about, but when I moved here a decade ago, my hope was to get more than just the small piece of property that I have.
Right.
And now I'm glad I didn't get it because I'd have to keep up with it.
Yeah,
but my idea was to move back up here to the mountains and to this area and have enough land where I could have chickens and a garden and get back into some of the things that I did as a child and feed my family that way. But at the same time, you know, not just in my case, but in many other cases, these kids are growing up with an opportunity to raise animals, to be involved in agriculture, the business side that they learn. What, in your estimation, how important is the small farmer to the local economy?
The small farmer is just like small business. The small business makes up 80% of the economy in the country. A small farmer contributes just as much on pro-rationally as a big farmer. I've seen where Walker County has added the numbers of farmers to the county. Maybe not the acreage size, but yes, I'm for anybody that wants to be active in the farming industry. It's like passing the plate around in church. You know, you give $1, you give $10. More people contributing, the better off you are. But they're playing their part just like a large one would. Yes, I agree with that.
And although the budget for education is approved by the school board and only becomes a part of our taxes that we pay,
right.
How important are these agricultural programs to the education of the kids?
Again, the property tax is where that comes from, and everybody pays property tax, and obviously property tax supports education and the government operations of the county. Again, going back to the other side of the equation, I think whoever in that area digging into where all the expenses are going with the school system to validate and see if they're appropriately, expenses are appropriate for the education need in Walker County. Because look at Ridgeland. Look at Ridgeland School, the high density put in there, how it was put in there, and how it was voted in there. You know, you always say you need infrastructure before something comes along. Well, who asked the school board about how many students are going to be in Ridgeland because of this high density development? I've heard from teachers, I've heard from families that that's a real issue. And again, go to the ballot. When you're endorsed by somebody running for office, go look at who's endorsing and see what their feelings have been in the past. So, yeah, infrastructure, cost, and look at where the dollars go, to me, should always be validated before you just sit there and you need to charge somebody a property tax to collect to cover expenses. What are those expenses?
If I remember correctly, the actual school portion of our property taxes is larger than our
Yes, sir.
county's operational budget.
Yes. But they do add up.
But they do add up because you have to pay them.
Yes.
And whether you have your mortgage paid off or not, your property apparently is you're still making payments to the county and to the insurance company.
Right.
Just in summary, if the people of District 4 elect you as their commissioner, what do you see in 4 years down the road when the next election comes up? What would you like to see having accomplished, being able to look back and say, I've accomplished these things?
Okay, well, I've fortunately or unfortunately been in some tough situations. I felt like a consultant coming in to fix business at a times, or employee morale with the outcome being a great business. Number one, if I had the ultimate goal, which would cover a lot of ground, would to be citizens trusting the government more, employees trusting the government more. I think it'd be successful that citizens, which would lead up to that, is they're comfortable with the dollars they're paying for taxes, that it's truly needed, and the comfort of employees knowing that they're listened to, they're empowered, they're more part of the budget, as the commission should be. I've heard budgets coming in. So that budget process, they're simple things to do to bring trust and likability to an organization, and also votes. There's been some outnumbered votes for many reasons on a lot of things that's happened, which have crossed the lines of the Joint Comprehensive Plan. But the votes themselves have caused lack of trust, and do what you want, and always a suspicion, what are they getting out of it, this deal, because nobody else the citizens didn't want it. Communication ties to all that, just like the quarry, just like the hotel, just like the transition areas, just like many things with the Ridgeland School. What was the right thing? Was the right thing to stand up and go against a lawsuit threat, or the right thing to say, okay, this is not quite the appropriate place, or the time and the infrastructure is not there? But I think communication should sum up, and proof of your dollars and the government has your back, and listening to the folks would be, in 4 years, that's what I would have a goal to do. Again, I'm one vote out of 3. I do work with people. Sometimes leaders, just like I've experienced in South Georgia. An example of a leader is, went down there out of the blue, didn't know a soul. And you're talking about a small town with a farming community. I was scared to talk about anything because this person was related to the mayor, this one related to this, everybody. I came down there in an environment where rates were way too low to cover expenses. I had to raise rates from 30% to 200%, maybe even more.
Ouch.
In a place I didn't know anybody. All I knew is I was setting myself up to be shot. Okay? But several things happened. I told the truth. The rates came with higher reliability of power. It came with preventive maintenance, not preventive maintenance, not reaction maintenance to the power system. It came with bringing the community together, talking to the farmers, bringing the farmers into the city, talking together jointly with things. And as the chair I happen to be the chair of the Chamber of Commerce, but what I'm most proud of there is they said they've been wanting a fall festival on the small square in Cuthbert, Georgia. And I said, well, we just can't get the money. I said, well, to throw out some ideas and step up and, take a chance. That's what leaders should do. And hopefully people will take from that and join the leadership team. So I had a suggestion that I was accustomed to it many times, is how about a sponsorship? I'll be the first to commit that we'll sponsor a table to have sitting on the square to begin this funding for a fall festival. Well, it snowballed. It kept going and going. At the end of the day, when the population is highest in Cuthbert, Georgia, is opening day of deer season. So we had it opening day of deer season. There's another commitment. I didn't hunt that day for a few years. Fall Festival came, first annual one, had over 40 tables, booths set up on the square. The best count was 1,100 folks came through that fall festival, and that was with a county that had about 6,000 residences or citizens in it. So that was a success story where I heard quotes, I haven't seen so-and-so in 30 years, and all this. You saw this unity. You saw the spread of leadership. People take the lead. And still today, that was around 2009 or, somewhere in 9 to 10. So that thing has been going strongly. It's expected now, not an idea. So that kind of satisfaction with the community and that kind of satisfaction with our elected officials who we appoint to be able to trust and not back down to other stuff or be a yes man to anybody, that's what I'd like to see in 4 years.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Have you ever been a yes man?
No, sir.
Will you ever be a yes man?
No, sir.
What in your opinion defines a yes man?
A yes man, in my opinion, obviously, if you were interviewing for the job of commissioner, if you were interviewing for the job of president of the United States, okay, you should be able to see the resume. You should be able to see their past experience. And with that being said, that don't happen, okay? So you could very well have influences promoting you to get into office that you don't have the experience and knowledge to make informative decisions, the financial background, the intensity of working with auditors to actuaries to the community to those sort of things that to me it's an interview for a job. It's your heart. I follow Jesus, which that's all that I need to not be a yes man to anybody. But a yes man is one that can't stand on their own to make informed, accurate decisions based on knowledge, and that has to rely on somebody else to know which way to vote or not for whatever reason those people want to vote this way or not. So that's a yes man is not. It's not how that festival came about. People became leaders, and they weren't saying yes. They all became leaders, and so no, sir. I am not a yes man.
Jamey, give us just a moment. Just look right square in that camera right over there, and give us just a moment and tell the people why they should vote for Jamey Hulsey.
Okay. Hey, citizens, this is Jamey Hulsey. I guess you've learned a lot about me. Rick is a great interviewer. He has a passion for the area just as I do. Again, we could have lived anywhere in the country or even out of the country after we retired, and we chose this place. And again, the conviction I have, I will stand up for you. I will not bow down, as a lot of you have seen, and you can go back and witness some commissioner meetings that nobody's God. Nobody is the know-it-all. And decisions made should be in the best interest of you. Go back and look at the website, the Joint Comprehensive Plan, the map that you should be proud of. It's the threat of that to the threat of dollars that we don't know where they go. I will commit that I'm one vote of 3 that has to make anything happen, and for others to follow leadership or ideas, we hope that's the snowball effect that can be given here with the experience and history I've had in managing a lot of people, a lot of dollars, and actually fixing business and corporations that really needed it for the citizens. And in my case, it was for the member owners of the electric co-op. So I appreciate your vote. Your vote is for confidence, and your vote is for somebody that can spend 100% of his time being retired. And God had a better idea that I tried to forget all the business that I used to do. I said, I'm free now. But again, I said I wasn't going to get back into business, but this is a business position. This is knowledge to make sure and validate that you're getting the best for your dollar by your county, and I will look forward to serving you with a half. Thank you.
I want to thank Jamey for joining me today on the broadcast, and if you would like more information about him, you can go to his Facebook page and or you can contact us, and we'll be glad to point you in that direction. Jamey Hulsey, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
And
I'm glad you care as much as a lot of others that encourage me to run.
I believe there's a lot of people in Walker County that care about the future of this county.
Yes, sir.
And we look forward to seeing what happens and how it goes about.